Well, Production Club came about as a result of the creation of Skrillex's first show. That first show originated with the collaborative work of several creatives who were from different places, but many of them were in Los Angeles. So, from that collaborative work, once we did that and it was successful, we jumped to the next job and the next job. And so Production Club started with my business partners who live here in Los Angeles, who were doing similar work to what I was doing in Spain. My work requires a lot of creativity, it's true, but in reality all jobs require creativity and we should use it more. Maybe it's true that in my work or in my discipline, creativity is a little bit more noticeable when it's related to the world of design or the world of art, to the world of originality. Because the creation of experiences and shows in the way we work, we try to reinvent ourselves every time. Because otherwise people don't want to come to the shows. So maybe that's why it seems like you have to be a little more creative. The metaverse, in my opinion, is already here, it's just a little bit in its infancy. In terms of development and in terms of it's not very accessible to everybody. If you ask me what is my vision of how this is going to affect events in the future, I would say that probably the physical events like the ones we have now are going to have a counterpoint that is more virtual. And the virtual events that we have seen more of during the pandemic are going to have a counterpoint that complements them, that is more physical. In this way, more and more a continuum will be created that blurs the lines between virtual and physical. Until in the future we will not really know, or it will not be so important to differentiate whether you are going to an event that is virtual or an event that is physical. Also, I think that the metaverse is going to have other advantages along with Web3, in which there is going to be more collaboration and more accessibility to parts of creators that perhaps before did not have so much accessibility. And there is also going to be a collaboration, as I was saying, and a shared ownership that is going to be beneficial for a greater number of people. In Production Club we are about 50 people, and of those 50 people I think that about 14 to 15 will be Spanish. We work very well, as we call it, asynchronous. I think other people also call it asynchronous. Not that we invented it. We work very well asynchronously. Which means, in practical terms, that Spain does its workday, people are autonomous, everyone is very, very professional, and when they finish, they leave the file they have been working with or their conclusions in the digital work environment that we use. It can be messaging, which we do with Slack. Or it can be a Google document, or it can can simply be a video in which they explain the progress they have made so that the person who comes after them, in this case in the United States, can take that file or those conclusions and continue the rest of their day. So that's good, it makes us quite competitive because we managed to pack in 1 working day, 2 working days, one from Spain and one from the United States. And also, it adds an added freshness to the fact that, well, we have different ways of looking at things, right? So sometimes it surprises you a little bit, if you have left a work here, and someone takes it and continues it. That also helps to create perhaps a more interesting product. The process that we follow to create a show or to create an event is very different depending on what the client needs or who the client is. Because sometimes there is a client who needs a job that is very fast in 3 weeks, and another time a client, well, he gives you 9 months and a lot of money. So the first thing is to see what are the client's needs and what are the client's limitations. As I say, in terms of money, in terms of the time you have to work with and whatever other constraints they have. If I had to draw as a generalization of how we work, that is quite difficult. I would say the first thing is to sit down with the client, understand what they need. From there, in a more creative way and internally in Production Club, we start to conceptualize and investigate ways to solve that problem. And when we have something a little bit more solid, we go back to the client and say, hey, what do you think of this? Or what do you think of these solutions? From there, if they give us the go-ahead like okay, we already bring in the rest of the people involved in our company and we start working already with much more specific deliverables. However, it is difficult to generalize what are the steps we take when doing a project, because what makes us unique in Production Club is that every time someone comes we understand that each problem is unique. So, well, maybe we take different members of the team and that makes us have a different process. So, well, you could say that each process is different, it depends on what the client needs. Well, the NFL is a very traditional organization in a good sense. I think they are almost 100 years old, they did this year, last year. But what is good about them is that they are a traditional organization that is modernizing. So I think that as part of this modernization, what has caught their attention at Production Club is that we are a younger, more diverse company, we are a little fresher in our process of creating ideas and we are also a little riskier. So I think this is something that older or more traditional companies don't dare to explore. So that's our advantage and why I think the NFL continues to work with us. At Production Club we work with technology companies and yes, we also work with artists, usually from the music world and the electronic music world. We have designed shows for Skrillex, who is a DJ, for Zed, for ZHU, for Chainsmokers, for Grimes. We have designed festival shows for DJ Snake. We've also designed festivals in Las Vegas or in China. So we try to have a pretty big range. What has been my favorite show or the one I've liked the most? It's a bit complicated, isn't it? Well, because everyone has something that drives you crazy, in a good way and in a bad way. But if you ask me on the spot, we did a show a few years ago for Notch, who is the creator of Minecraft, in an inflatable dome that with 20 or 22 projectors we mapped with video and well, that was a very demanding and very ambitious project that was really quite complicated, but I am very satisfied. So I think that's a good balance between a project that was very difficult but I'm very proud of the result. In Production Club now we have a very interesting project that I can't talk about, but it is quite big and interesting as I said. And although I can't talk about it, I can say that you can live the project and see the project and enjoy the project in Los Angeles as well as in any part of Aragon. So you better ask me in 10 months and I can tell you more.